find wherever you took notes previously. We're going to start right in the note sheet and then we'll go back to the book. So method 2 is called the distributive property. And we can use the distributive property, that was a bad R, on any type of question. So what we're going to do is we're going to work through some examples here. So when I have a monomial, that's a single term, we're going to distribute it to the polynomial or the binomial inside the parentheses. So it would be 3 times x and 3 times 4, and that's all we have to do. There's nothing to combine here, so we're done. Number 2, we're going to do 2y times y, so that would be 2y squared. 2y times negative 5, negative 10y. Let's look at the next one. 6z times 2z squared. So let's do 6 times 2. And then I have z to the first power and z squared. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Then we're going to do 6z times 4z. So 6 times 4 is 24. Z to the first times z to the first is z squared. And 6z times negative 3 is negative 18z. And that would be our final answer. All of these are in standard form. So we are good. Okay, let's write out the distributive property. So what we're going to do here is we need to take the x and we are going to distribute it to 4x minus 1. So I'm going to write it out. So this x needs to be distributed to the 4x minus 1. So we need to multiply and multiply. Right? And also, this 2 needs to be distributed to the 4x minus 1. So it would be multiply, multiply. Okay, so x times 4x is 4x squared. X times negative 1 is negative 1x. Then in my second set of parentheses, it would be 2 times 4x, 2 times negative 1. And then just like with the box method, we have to combine our like terms. So these two x's in the middle, we need to add them together. So 4x squared, negative 1x plus 8x, and then leave the minus 2. So again, we multiplied a binomial times a binomial, and our answer here is a trinomial. Now, if you're saying to yourself right now, I already prefer the box method, I'm going to stick with it, that's totally fine. Okay, let's go through the distributive property again. And then we'll do the acronym. Okay, so this x needs to be multiplied by the second binomial, the second set of parentheses. And so does this positive 5. It also needs to be multiplied by the second binomial or the second set of parentheses. Okay, and then I'm going to distribute So x times 2x is 2x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times 3 is 15. Then if I'm looking, I have like terms right here. So I'm going to leave my 2x squared. 3 plus 10 is 13x plus 15, and that's our final answer. So this is called the distributive property. But I am going to take us to the notes. And we are going to talk about something in regards to the distributive property. So there is something called FOIL. You might have learned this in middle school. The distributive property and the box method could be used at any time. Okay? But FOIL can only be used when we're multiplying two binomials, which is probably why the book doesn't use this acronym or teach it to you. But I learned this when I was in high school, and I still hear people talking about this all the time. So FOIL is an acronym that tells you the order in which to multiply the terms in your two binomials. Okay, so this might be faster for you to think about it this way instead of your distributive property. Okay, so what we're going to do is look at this example, and we're going to use the FOIL method. FOIL stands for first. Just like distributing, we would do x times x. And I'm going to write this out for you, but in the future it's going to get faster. Okay, so x times x is x squared. Then I multiply my two outside terms, which is just distributing this x to negative 6. So my outside terms, the first and the last terms, are x times negative 6. So that would be negative 6x. Well, then I would need to take and distribute this 2 to the x. Those are my inside terms. They're close together. So I multiplied 2 times x, which is 2x, and 2 times negative 6. Those are my last terms listed in the parentheses. Distributing 2 times negative 6, and we get negative 12. So hopefully you see the first terms, then the outside terms, then the inside terms, and the last terms. So then, just like before, I need to take and combine my like terms. CLT, combine like terms. So I get x squared, negative 6x plus 2x is negative 4x, and then the minus 12 is at the end, and that would be my final answer. So let's keep going on our note sheet. We're going to multiply the first terms in our parentheses. So basically you're distributing this m to this m. The first terms listed, so distribute the m to the m. M times m is m squared. Then you're going to do the outside terms. So basically you're distributing this m to this 4. M times 4 is 4m. Then I need to do the same thing with the 3. I'm basically distributing that to this m. Those are my two inside terms because they're really close together. So it would be 3 times m, which is 3m. And then my last terms in the sets of parentheses is this 3 times 4, which is 12. CLT, combine like terms. I have m squared positive 4 plus 3 is 7. Then I have a positive 12 at the end. And there we go. And as you do this, if it helps, you can put your signs there. They're positives. Okay? So let's take a look at the next one. First, outside, inside, last. First terms, 2x times 2x, 4x squared. Distribute the 2x to the 4. Multiply my outside terms. Then I need to distribute the negative 3, or multiply my inside terms. Distribute the negative 3 to the 4. Those are my last two terms, and we get negative 12. So I get 4x squared plus 2x minus 12. Because we combine these two like terms together. First, outside, inside, last. Or you can think about it as using the distributive property still, because they're essentially the same thing. Or if it helps you, remember you can take and draw the boxes and combine your diagonals, your like terms. It's totally up to you. So in the book, page 372, I want you to work on questions 12A, B, and C. But I can't just write 2 squared plus x squared and think that that's my answer. Remember, it's our set of parentheses multiplied by itself twice. So ignore this, and now you can use these two binomials and distribute / FOIL method, or draw a box and get your answer. Use your notes, pause the video, and I want you to take the time to work out these questions. For those of you that like to use the box, I am going to do the box method. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times x, 2 times x. X times x is x squared. My diagonals are my like terms. I'm going to write this in standard form though. So my x squared first. 2x plus 2x is 4x. And then 4 is at the end. Okay, the next one I'm going to do using the FOIL method or distributive property. So first, x times x is x squared. Outside, 3 times x. Inside, 3 times x. Last terms, 3 times 3 is 9. I have like terms here that I need to combine. So 3x and 3x, which is 6x plus 9, and that would be my final answer. Okay. If you still like the box method, I'm going to use the box method one more time. X times x, x times 6, x times 6, 6 times 6. Combine my like terms, which are my diagonals here. X squared plus 12x plus 36. That would be my final answer. Okay, now we are going to jump to page 374. You should see question 18. A through F. If you don't have enough room, use the My Notes section of your book. I want you to come up with answers for all of these questions using whichever method you prefer. So draw your boxes, or you can think about FOIL/distributive property. So pause and come up with all of these answers. I am going to use the FOIL or the distributive property. It's totally fine if you want to use box and stick with that. This is just a little bit quicker for me so I don't have to draw boxes. Oops. So think about distributing, or the first distributing, so we get their outside terms. Distribute the -7, so we're multiplying our inside terms and our last terms. And CLT, combine like terms. 5 minus 7 is -2x. And we get -35. First, outside, inside, last. Combine my two middle terms, my two x's. Distribute, so first, outside, inside, last. Combine my x's, my two middle terms. So A through D used x's, 7s, and 5s in a different combinations of positive and negatives. This is showing you that our signs matter here. Okay, we had both of them negative, both of them positive. One had a -5, one had a -7, and we get 4 different answers here. So make sure that you're paying attention to your signs. They do matter. Why don't I use the box just to show it again? So I'm going to place my 4x here, 1, x, 3. Remember, you can switch the top and the sides if you want. 4x times 3, 1 times x, 1 times 3. My like terms here are the x terms, which are on the diagonal. And this will be my final answer. First, 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Outside, inside, -1 times 3x. Last, combine our two middle terms, our two x's. And that's our final answer. Okay, 2 more questions that we're going to cover. I just want you to do questions 21 and 22. These are on page 375. It's in the check your understanding box. And notice it says determine the product. Product means to multiply. Of the binomials, you can use a graphic organizer, which I say the box method, or you can use the distributive property, also called FOIL. So go ahead and pause the video, work through these questions, and get your 2 answers. First, outside, inside, last. Combine my 2 middle terms. distribute the x to the 3x, so those are my first terms. Distribute the x to -2, my outsides, insides, last term, so distribute the 7 to the -2. Combine my like terms, my two middle x terms. And there's our final answer.